Hi everybody, welcome to another edition of Boss in Business. I'm Nadine from Ace Entrepreneurs, and every week we talk to amazing, diverse business owners. And today we have Yvonne from Autism's Hidden Voice, which is a constituted company currently at the moment, but I will let you introduce. So hi Yvonne, welcome.
Hello, hi everyone. Nice to be here.
Nice to have you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Tell us about what's your business about? What do you do?
Autism Hidden Voices is something that started more on a personal level because I've got a daughter who is 19 years now. So I've been battling, living, breathing autism, been there, done that, still doing it. It doesn't end. But it's because I've had to be my daughter's voice, my daughter's advocate. I guess I didn't realize that people were watching me. And this all started from, oh, I need your help. Oh, please come with me. Oh, I saw what you did for your daughter. Can you help me? And then I found people coming to me. And I felt, okay, look, you know what? I see people on platforms advertising, but there are still people who need help and they are not getting the help. So this is literally how this all started. There is need for help, and it's a 24-hour job, trust me. It is.
What area are you based in?
Okay, I'm currently in Newport, just 20 minutes from Cardiff.
Oh
So
my God.
Yes, I'm in Wales.
If you're in South London, then I know someone, but you're not.
No. I'm in Wales, but trust me, I do come to London almost like once in 2 weeks because I do also help families in London as well. Considering that that's the beauty of technology.
Yeah.
I do get calls from people in London to say, oh, I saw you or stuff like that. How do you help? And the funny thing is, the reason I would get help from other places other than Wales is because this is the problem.
Right.
A lot of families with children with autism or dealing with autism want to talk to somebody. They don't see someone like them, someone like me, because for us, autism is something that you don't sing at the top of your voice, for a lot of the, I would say the ethnic communities. I don't want to stick to just Black, because I find that in the Asian community, I find that in other communities as well. There's still the barriers, there's still the stigma. So some people want help, but they want the help, but then hidden, I have people that come to me, but then they come to me with that confidentiality, that kind of don't tell people about me and stuff like that. But the thing is, all I want to do is empower people to talk about, to fight for their kids' needs and rights.
Yeah.
That has to be the key thing for me. So whether you want to do it in hiding or whether you don't want to do it in hiding, the issue is I need you to step up and help your child. The issue we're having now, people are not even getting the basic help. And then those that are getting help are being shortchanged. They're not getting the right help. So with COVID, I'll give you an example. As of last week, I had to call the DWP and ask for a mandatory reconsideration for 10 families.
Wow.
Who actually were on benefits, but were on the lowest rate when they were supposed to be on the highest rate. So think about it. They've lost money.
Yeah.
Years of money and help as well, because you being on the lowest rate means you're not able to get some other help available there, because for you to get that help, you need to be on the middle or highest rate. So this is the problem we're having. Parents have to depend on specialists. Sometimes the specialists don't even know what they're saying or doing, and you're leaving your child's life in the hands of someone else who doesn't know your child.
And you don't know they don't know.
And you don't know
because you're an expert, but they don't know.
Exactly. I need parents to be in a position like anyone, like right now, anyone that comes to my house with a clipboard, I just sit down and listen. by the time you speak to me 2 minutes in, I already know whether you know what you're talking about or not.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I ask you a question, they go, I'll get back to you. I'll get back to you. And there, I get them out because I already know, sometimes they go, actually, you know more than me. What am I doing here? I'm like, I just need you to do your job.
Oh, jeez.
I've done my research. I've done my research, so I know why you're here. I know what you want to ask me even before you do. But this is what I want for my child, and I'm not budging because this is what I need to get. Now, parents need to realize they don't understand the amount of power they have. When I talk to parents, it's more of, "Ooh, I'm not sure. Ooh, okay, I don't know whether to ask." Ask. Go ahead and ask. It's your right. It's your entitlement. Do not feel sorry for anyone. We have to fight for what our kids are supposed to have. We're not even fighting for the extra. We're just fighting for what we are entitled to. But nobody will tell you, no one will fight for you. It has to be you, you know?
How do you fight when you don't know what you're fighting for? Do you know what I mean?
Well,
It's
that's,
like I told you really briefly, and I'm not going to talk about them too much, but I
yeah,
have someone very close to me who has
yeah,
autism going on. And to
yeah,
be honest, I realized very quickly I know nothing. Like
yeah,
absolutely nothing. And things which I put my opinion on were all
yeah,
linked to autism.
yeah,
And like God, how incredibly hard is that when you have a child and you yourself won't know about autism just because you won't, right? Because you've got
yeah,
other stuff going on. Now you have a child with an autistic child. How do you
yeah.
even begin to navigate that? How do you even begin to know what questions you're even supposed to be asking, right?
That's that's the problem. And normally in this country, if you have a child with autism, some people will direct you to go for something called the early bird course. So you go for the early bird course, which takes about 6 weeks or
Okay.
so. And now, this is the problem. You've just had the diagnosis. You pass through a phase in your life. Sometimes you're in denial, sometimes you're in whatever stage you want to be. And then you have this bombardment of information, and you finish the course going like that. And 9 out of 10, you're not going to go back and open the book to check, because your child is there presenting you with issues every single day that you don't know. Now, this is the question I have, which is one of the reasons why I created a podcast now, because yes, the charity is for helping people. But then I created a podcast because I need people to come on there and talk, like listen, because it's one thing to help, but then the podcast will help people to understand what the issues are,
Mm-hmm.
you know? Okay, I said about the early bird. Okay, that's fine. I had it 6 weeks. That's it. The child is growing. There needs to be a refresher course.
Yeah.
They need to call us back. They need to be, it's called early bird. There should be a teen bird. There should be an adult bird. There should be something that will make you go back and say, okay, did I do enough? Or how far have I come?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
There is no baseline to go against what you've done, what you need to do. Same thing with information. The information is everywhere, and parents are left to go to Google to check. And Dr. Google, as we all know, is not really the first, you could get
Doctor.
Dr. Google. Yeah, you could get information or you could get misinformation.
Yeah.
It's up to you,
And
you know.
it depends how it's presented. If someone presents it really slick, you're like, oh, this is official. This is,
This is official,
but it's
and it's not. Exactly. You
right.
know.
And it's so
So,
nuanced, right? Because from my limited understanding, when the child might be one, maybe you won't know, right? Maybe you
yes,
know by three, and there's things that's happening from 1 to 3.
one, two,
Then
three.
3 till 5, there's different
Yep,
things happening, right? And then
exactly.
you did a post about which I commented under, very interesting.
Yeah,
The guy who is a law graduate, right? Is a law
yeah,
graduate, but yet
yes,
there's still things he can't do. Now that
yeah,
my mind, because you don't think about as an adult with autism, you're living a normal life, but also you're
yeah,
living still an autistic life.
yeah. But this is the funny thing. Autism is a spectrum.
Yes.
So For me, I'm just giving you information. You need to take the information and structure it to your child.
Yes.
Because it's not a one size fits all. So if I have an information, you need to pick the information that is relevant to your child. It might not apply to the next person standing next to you. So for everybody I see, I want to hear your story. Then I will be able to tell you what you need to do for your child. If I'm advocating for your child, then I need to know how to present it to you and how you need to word, because again, if you want something, sometimes you don't get it because it's down to how you say it. It's funny. Sometimes it's just as simple as how you ask for it or how you say it. The forms, the disability forms, there's a way you feel it. I tell you, you get it. There's a way you feel it, and I will tell you, you're not going to get anything. So it's about how you write, it's about how you talk, it's about how you word. I've gone to court with families that shouldn't even be there in the first place.
Oh my gosh, it's so scary.
I've literally gone to court, I've gone to the police station, and I just walk in and someone's asked me, and I walk in, I'm like, what's the case? And I hear blah, 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 and I go, throw it out. It shouldn't even be here. And I just say one or two things. The case is thrown out. I've literally gone to a court case where the judge came in and listened to the case, and he turned to me and like, what do you think? And I said, well, first of all, I'm wasting my time sitting down here talking to you. This shouldn't even be a case, And then he said, I totally agree with you. Bang, case dismissed.
Because you're the expert.
Case dismissed. And I just said to him, yeah, taxpayers' money. I could have used that money to help another disabled family, and we all laughed about it. But it's not funny because if I wasn't an expert, that case could have gone another way, and then there's another criminal label on a family that shouldn't be criminalized. And a lot of that is happening because you don't know. Sometimes you do things that you probably shouldn't do, but because you didn't know, you will do it thinking you're doing the right thing.
Right.
And then before you know it, you find yourself with in a situation whereby if you're not careful, you find yourself in the courts or in a police situation. So it's really, really difficult. And I think for the ethnic minorities, I'm going to use the word the Black communities. The problem we have is we have a certain mentality about asking for help.
Yes.
And
yes,
when
do.
Exactly. And when I'm fighting for my daughter, I get friends or even people say, oh, what's wrong with you? They've done this for you. Aren't you happy? Like it's as if I should be grateful for any little crumbs thrown my way. And I'm like, hell no. I want the whole loaf of bread. Like I know what the end result is.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be happy because someone had the time of day to reply your hello. Yeah. When I go in there, I want look, there is no harm in asking for a mansion. If I end up living with a duplex, it's better than nothing. And that's the point. I need people to aim higher. My daughter is 19. She hasn't got conversation skills, so they normally write non-verbal. But my daughter will say words or phrases, or she's quite independent because I've done a lot of work with her on my own to get her to the level of what she is today. I literally, at one point in my life, pulled her out of school. I homeschooled her for 2 years because I wasn't happy with what the school was giving to me. I've moved countries with her because I wanted something more better for her. Yeah. And I got it and I came back, So this is the thing. I've moved houses. Like where I live now, I live in Newport. My daughter goes to school, like it's an hour and a half drive. Now the school there is fantastic. The only way I could access the school was I put tenants in my house. I rented a house in that place just to be in the catchment area because I wanted that school. So of course, when I wanted the school and I applied, they're like, oh, no, you're not in the catchment area. Sorry, done. I'm in the catchment area. And then they were finding all the excuses in the world to throw me out. I'm like, you see that school? the parents in there and myself, we've got 2 legs, 2 hands, 2 eyes.
Yeah.
I don't care. My daughter is getting, they threw all the schools to me, but not that school. Now
Hey.
that school is a popular school. They've got celebrities in that school. You know, they've pumped money into that school. And I can tell you, I can count how many, we probably in the whole school, probably be about 4 or 5 Black people in that school. But they've got the facilities I want, you know? So for me, hell let loose. My daughter is getting in there. And trust me, it took 2 months of toing and froing and me not budging. Guess what? My daughter got into the school.
Yeah. Yeah. Because perseverance will do that.
Just keep
And
going.
that is a life lesson.
Yes.
By all and any means, I'm going to achieve what I need to achieve for my family.
My motto and my mantra, right? I do not take no as an answer.
Good for you. You can't.
I don't want to say 3 words in my life had I known. So I go in, I go, and I go. If it doesn't work, I will be the first to put my hands up in the air and say, okay, you know what? I've tried my best.
Yeah.
But the last thing I want is me not to try, and then I find out that I could have. You've got to live with that for the rest of your life, knowing that you could have given your daughter or your child something, and you did it just because of pure laziness or just me not doing my research well.
Yeah. And it's a dedication thing. And it's just, this is life in itself, right?
Yeah.
If you try and you fail, that's better to fail than to never even try to do it in the first place. You'll sit there at 50, like you said, or whatever age, and you'll be like, oh, I wish I did that. You want to look back and say, I tried to do that and I didn't get to do it. So I did this thing, like you were saying, it was better, but not exactly what I wanted. Then I never even bothered to try. How sad is that?
Exactly. You know, that's the point. Like now, my daughter is starting college. Today is the 2nd, or is it the 2nd of September? I still don't have a college place for her because I've been to all the colleges. They do not tick all the boxes. So my current situation right now is I have made a suggestion to the local authority and I said, okay, one school fits all is not going to work for my daughter. Can I have 2 schools? Can I have 3 schools where she could go to this one, maybe Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then some days that? That's not really done, but let's see what we can do. So that's where we are right now. Because at that point in time, I said to them, I need a bespoke blended learning. And they all laugh like blended. Hold on, let me write that down. I haven't heard that before. It's not been done before, but okay. You know, and everybody's scribbling and writing. I'm like, you've not done that before. Yeah, we've never really had a situation. We've never done that. I said, well, that's me. There's always a first, innit? Let's go.
Hey.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
No. So right now, I know what the problem is. It's the funding, because everything comes down to money.
Yes.
It's all about funding. And I said to them, you know what? Keep crunching. My background is accounting. I'm an accountant myself. If you need help, I can help you crunch the numbers. It's very easy. So don't tell me it's not done. Let's do it.
Do you need some help? I can help you.
Need some help? I could help you.
Accountant.
So when I'm making my case, I'm also selling myself like, yeah, okay, if you have problems with numbers, I'm an accountant. I can help you out there as well.
Right. There's no reason why, really, because like if you have, for instance, the university I went to had more than one campus. So you have some lessons on one campus, some lessons on the other campus.
Yeah, there you go.
Is that not the same thing? I don't know.
Well, that's the thing. And I also say to them, well, don't forget, I'm supposed to be the best advocate for my daughter. Is it not best interest for my child? So here we go. I'm telling you what's best for my child. How can you refuse me that? So if it's not been done before, my daughter will be a trailblazer. Let's go. Let's do it.
You will become the benchmark. That's what you're basically the benchmark.
Yeah, well, that's it, because that's the funny thing. I remember when I wanted to go into that school, they told me no chance. There's no way. There's a waiting room. And then after I moved and I got the catchment area, they told me, oh, actually, there's no space. And I said to the man, have you got a kitchen in that school? He said, yes. I said, have you got a storeroom? He said, yes. I said, okay, create a space.
Oh, sure.
Don't tell me there is no space. You know what? Let me even do you a favor. I'll buy the gazebo, put her desk outside, create a space for her on the playground. As long as you've got grounds,
Yeah.
you can create a space. And I said, and that's the end of that matter. I am not discussing this again, but do not come to me to tell me there is no space, because I know your job is to create a space. So if you've got a store, put her in the kitchen. I don't mind where you put her, but as long as I said, you want the table and chair, I will buy it for you. There's a space.
I want to know, how do they receive you? How do people receive you?
Oh, they're scared.
Because you're like coming through the screen like a blast of energy to me. I like it.
Yeah, the thing is, that's what, when I started this journey, I was okay, all right.
Oh, nice.
Well, the thing is, you find you talk and you talk, they're not listening.
Yeah.
So you've got to go, okay, all right then. So literally, I'm like, okay, this is what I want, take it or leave it. You know, I just put, and before I go for any meetings or so, I do my research.
Yeah.
I do my research. I've had cases where I want something, they tell me, oh, it's not done. I'm like, no. If you go to the Education Act, Section 1, I will quote the act. Half the time they're like, they don't even know that exists. I say, yeah, I've been doing my reading. Go back. Because when I wanted to homeschool my daughter, I moved to Ireland.
Oh my days.
I moved to Ireland.
Around.
Yes, I do. As if I want help, I'll get it.
Oh,
it doesn't matter where. I'm willing to go anywhere to get help. So when I moved to Ireland, because there was a school there I wanted, and then I had done my research. They told me, if you go to the local school, you will not be able to go into that, because that school is kind of like a private school.
Right.
And I wanted the teaching, because the teaching was more like an American curriculum. And so when I went to Ireland and I went to the education department, I said, oh, I want to homeschool my daughter. They're like, no, you have to put her in a school. And I said to them, no, I don't. Because there is something called, for education, every one of us send our children to school. But do you know you have the right to home educate your children? It doesn't matter whether they have special needs or not. There is an act where you, as a parent, have the right to educate your parent at home. And simply for the reason being, you just don't like the education system. I want to educate my child differently. You are allowed to do that. Now, what the government needs to do is, the money that is allocated to every school for your child, that money needs to be paid to you to educate your child at home.
That for real?
That is for real.
Oh my days, that is
for real. But you see, people don't know this, you know, and you would think it's only for people with special needs. No, it's for anybody. So when I went there and I told them, they were like, oh my God, how did you know that? I'm like, yeah, I do my research. And all I did was I rented a house. Then I rented a 4-bedroom house. I converted one room to a classroom. I got them to come and inspect it. I put an ad in the papers for teachers. I did interviews. I got the people I wanted. Then I got the autism team to also come into the house to do therapy, set everything up. They couldn't say no. So the money allocated for my daughter was given to me. And whilst I was doing that, I did training so that I could be paid to teach. So I was also paid to teach my daughter.
This is incredible.
So I got a teacher and then paid myself as well to teach my daughter.
Because you know what you're talking about, clearly. What you've seen, the people that come in are great, but there's a next level you're bringing to it.
Exactly. You know, and then by the time I finished, by the time the school I was waiting, because I was on the waiting list, by the time they were ready to take me, They came to the house to look at the curriculum. They had already set up a curriculum. I had taught that. So they had to change the curriculum twice to bring her in, because what they were planning to do, we had done it at home. So they said, we've never, ever seen a well-run home program. Quite frankly, we got into the school. I got what I needed. I ended up being in Ireland for 7 years.
Oh my days, wow.
Got everything because it was an early intervention education. Yeah. I just needed that early intervention. And they got her ready up to the level I wanted her to be. And once I had gotten everything I wanted, I came back. That was it.
Because there's, first of all, incredible. Incredible. That is a tale of never let nothing stop you. And if you feel like you know how to do it, make sure you back yourself 100%. Like go full force and really do it. Don't let anyone have any.
What's the harm? Right? I mean, what's the harm? If I did it and it didn't work, but at least I know I did it.
That's better than not doing it.
Not doing anything. Exactly.
The barrier to these type of things are usually, how can I afford it, right? Because I'm sure someone will hear your story and say, well, actually, I need to still work. I still need to pay for my house and stuff. But here is the answer. If you set yourself up well enough, they'll pay you.
Do you know the funny thing? I was working full-time. Then years ago, I was working in the National Statistics.
Yeah. ONS. I worked for them.
ONS. Oh, really?
Yeah, I did the survey one time.
Oh, really?
Census. I did the census.
Yeah. I was one of those people that called businesses to ask you about your accounts. Oh. Your figures, your turnovers and stuff like that. Now, I worked full-time. Then I went part-time because obviously I needed time to be doing all this. And then I've gone from that to actually not working at all because it became a full-time job. Like, I'm fighting for education needs. Now, this is what you don't know. Education is one body. Health is one body. So you're fighting two different bodies.
Wow.
They're not intertwined. So you're fighting for education, statement, or whatever on one hand. And then on the other hand, you're fighting to get therapy, the health service, to get the speech and language, the occupational therapist, the this therapy. And in between these two, there are other issues as well that comes in, like other things. And you have other children.
Yeah.
And if you're working, probably let's say you're working 10, 16 hours, then add that on top. So at the end of the day, you're exhausted.
Yeah.
You are exhausted. It's like, but people don't see that. And to now put the icing on the cake, you now go out with your child to try and live a life. But then you get the stigma. Sometimes you're thrown off the bus because your child has a meltdown, or I would drive to the supermarket with my daughter.
Yeah.
I have a plan.
Yeah.
Once we get through that door, if my daughter looks like Phil's, there's no chance in hell I'm getting into that supermarket. I'm going back home.
Yeah.
Shopping is done.
Yeah.
Shopping is done. Like literally, I cannot shop.
Because it's not like a normal child that has a tantrum and there's ways and tricks and tips. It's like, this is them. This is inherently them. They can't turn it off. You're not going to talk them out of this.
You're not going to talk them out of it. Like for me, what works for me now with my daughter is pre-planning. So if she knows where we're going and we talk about it, it makes it easy. That's not to say that if I get there, something throws it. So I have to be pre-prepared that I might not do what it is I set out to do. I should be okay with it. It's not, it didn't happen. It didn't happen. I've been to, airports is a big one. I'm sure there's every airport on the planet with my name on it. Honestly, my name is on, like my daughter has, we are the people at the airport that were rolling on the floor and there's a crowd. And I'm just sitting there having a cup of tea while my daughter is screaming and there's a crowd and people go, wicked woman. Oh my God, she's having a tea and her daughter is rolling on the floor. They don't realize that when they get into that situation, you have to be calm.
Yes.
I cannot even be seen engaging with someone else because that will set, and there's no stopping. They have to go through that curve and come down on their own. So for me, standing there and having a cup of tea or coffee, I'm waiting for her to do the circle.
Yeah.
I'm not interfering because that's not even going to help issues. But then there's a crowd and I can hear people.
Yeah.
But then you see the odd person who will rub my back. Like sometimes somebody will come up and just touch me at the back. Straight away, I've clocked that that person knows what I'm doing.
Oh, wow.
Probably another parent who knows what I'm doing. And I don't tell, because don't forget that while she's having the meltdown, she's actually looking at me. If I'm talking to somebody, she's going to go on another round. So I have to keep quiet. I cannot engage. So I'm having the cup and I'm talking to someone, whoever. I said, whoever you have my back, thank you so much. I know what you're doing, but just keep walking because I cannot talk to you. I cannot engage. Now, she does that for God knows how many minutes. Don't forget, there's a crowd around me. I've learned over the years to blind everybody. Like I can be looking at you, but not looking at you.
Yeah, yeah.
And when she finishes on her own, she stops, she will get up, she'll clean her eyes, she'll come to me, oh, mommy, no crying, no more crying, no more crying. And I'm like, are you okay now? Yes. Give me a hug, we kiss, and we leave the crowd and walk away like nothing happened. Now, while all this is going on, she's my last. I've got 2 older boys.
Right.
Whenever it happens, we have a plan. I tell the boys to go away. I don't want them to be in the vicinity because I don't want them to be, maybe be embarrassed or so. Right. So what I do is I tell the boys, you go check in. Obviously, the staff, they already know, so they go, they check them in, do everything. I'm like, just leave me and her. Embarrassment went down the drain with me, like nothing, like, bring it on. I've done it, been there, done that, So I just stand there. I get all the curses, the words, At the end of the day, I just hug my daughter and then we go somewhere quietly. I always ask for help at the airport in case people don't know that you can ask for help. I always, now at the airports, they've got quiet rooms.
Yeah.
They've got the sunflower sign you could wear on your neck to show that you are with, they actually have them in the like Tesco, Sainsbury's.
Ask my person whether they do that.
Yeah. Tell her to ask with the Tesco or Sainsbury's. Now, you can actually get them in the supermarkets. They're called they're lanyards for people with hidden disabilities. So when I'm traveling, I wear that around my neck. Now, people that know about it know that whoever beside me has a disability, and then because she gets a bit anxious, I always ask to be boarded last. So we are the last ones on the plane.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yes. So I do things like that. Again, it varies for different people, so know your child, know what you want. And if you need to be boarded first, tell them you will be the first on the plane,
Yeah. Because everybody wants peace. Everyone wants peace. They don't want you to be stressed. They don't want your child to be stressed. They don't want anyone to be stressed out. And all you have to do is ask. I mean, I've never been in that situation, so I really can't.
And don't be ashamed to ask. Like, I'll give you an example. If we go on the coach, on the National Express, sometimes we are at a stop where they've actually done the main stop before mine. Right. So by the time it gets to me, people have taken, like one person, and then there's no 2 seats for me and my daughter to sit together. Right. So what I do is I get on the bus. Now you can pre-book. You pay a little money for that. Yeah. But then for me, I'm kind of thinking I don't have to be pre-booking all the time because I'm making excuses for my daughter. I also want to teach her that you can, handle situations. So what I do is when we get on the coach and I stand and I look, there's no 2 seats together. I just go to the driver. Excuse me, can I make an announcement? And then the driver says, yeah. I'm like, hi, can I have 2 seats, please? I need to sit with my daughter. Is that okay with you? Nobody answers. Mm-hmm. And then I go, well, actually, that's just my insurance. If this journey doesn't go well, I've exempted myself. I hope you've got that on camera. And quick people go, oh, yes, ma'am, you can have my seat. You can have my seat. Go, I'm going to have my seat. You can have my seat.
Because everyone knows. No one don't want to hear none of that. Like,
but I warned you. I made an announcement. So by doing that, you didn't say I didn't warn you, you know?
No.
And quickly people go, oh, have my seat. Oh, have my seat. Oh, have my seat.
You
Oh, yeah.
motivated them. You gave them a reason, a compelling reason to get up.
Well, I've done my bit. If you don't want to give me a seat, whatever happens, be it on your head. That's as simple as that.